Hello. Okay, now let's look at how it works, okay? The tail of the cat is always up, okay? Spirit connect. The head is right in the front with the ears, okay? So the tail stretches out, and this is what you call CAT, communication angel transmission. If you look into the eyes, that is the background of the ocean. That's why the cat's eyes are usually green, because of the background of the ocean. They turn blue at the beginning because when they come into this world, the electronics that are inside their mind, it's a blue vision, okay? And yes, we all have the yellow energy of life. That yellow energy, is it fat? When fat gets warm, okay, it runs, it slides. There's an energy. We all know the Eskimos eat a lot of fat, okay? Beta, Santa Claus, is fat, okay? It takes that yellow energy to come and to go and to come and to go, okay? So when you're talking about mellow yellow, okay, it's because when God comes as beta, he is the mellow yellow. He's mellow as yellow because he's basically the yellow God of the electronic world. You see, everything is just one God, okay? But he's got so many territories, he has to rename everything, so we call it other gods. It's just like the Greeks did when they named all these gods. They named all these gods because of the four corners of our world, okay? And don't forget, in Rubik's Cube, there would be 8 corners. But if you add another one onto here, there would be 12 corners, plus the 2 of man and angel would be 14, and then the 1 connect on top and the bottom would be 16, the 16th letter, 1 and 6, 1 spirit of man. I have a little pain in my stomach. An ulcer I've had for 20 years burning through my hole in my stomach. I'm going to take a little bit of Malox. Okay, Malox is white. Okay, it's like chalk. Oh yeah, I got a hole in my stomach burning. So anyways, this is what I figure we're going to do. Got an apple. Take a look at that apple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bumps. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in-betweens. In between, here, here, here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 10. Okay? So when you're connected to the 5, okay, you actually have 10. And now you understand where the 10 comes from? It's the totality. So what we're going to do is we're going to split it. Okay? We split the apple, okay, and look inside the apple, okay. See that heart shape coming from the bottom? See what's coming from the top? There's one point coming from the top, but the point in the core is down at the tail end, okay. That's where all the action is, okay, but it grows from up here, but yet it comes back down here. And one of the reasons for that, okay, well, I should have did it right in the center. I didn't. I should have. Okay, so I do it in the center, and there's your heart. Okay, if you want to see the full extent of the heart, we'll just have the full extent of the heart. Okay, now in the apple, when you cut out the apple, okay, you have to cut it out this way, the heart, leaving you with that. Okay, that's the start of the beta world. This is what was there. This will be used somewhere else, okay? This is part of the Big Bang, where they split the corners, okay? They split the corners. These 2 are parts of the heart, but the corner they split on the bottom of the apple, okay, is not the same thing as the top of the apple. It's a little bit different. And that's where the U comes into the effect. And the reason the U as it comes into the effect is because of the bubble you don't see. That's actually here. That's a U. It's just that it's full of fruit. You can't see it. Looks like a quarter, right? Talking about quarters, I just saw the moon, and there's a mist coming off of it. Now there's 2 reasons for a mist. Either there's ice and the sun is penetrating it so hard, the mist lifts off. But then if a mist lifts off, wouldn't that mean some sort of entrapment? Some sort of atmosphere in order for the mist to show? The clouds show up to a certain point because of the atmosphere, but after that we don't see any clouds in the sky. Okay? Wouldn't it be the same effect for the moon? I mean, do I read any books? I'm going to tell you one thing. I take this from nothing. The only time I read is when I look things up. Okay? Otherwise I don't read. You see, but that's a lie because I do read. I read through things in here. Okay? I'm a mind reader because that's what we all are. It's all in the mind. The mind. The Mayan. The Mayan. M-A-Y is the V, okay, of the One Connect. Don't you know how it works, the V of the One Connect? Here's your V. Here's your One Connect. Down center where the 8 spot is. That's the heaven. Okay, we float between the oceans of all the corners of God. Okay, although it's the beta God because she's the land. Because God is in the sky. Because the angels are in the sky. They didn't have a land before. They were in the ocean, they were under the ocean, but they didn't actually have a land. I keep thinking of God as being a big bubble. We're all little big bubbles, you know? We're bubbly and we're big and we're bubbly. Anyways, what's going to take to effect is, what I was thinking next is I saw a shape of a female, and her rear end was so stuck out. Okay, and I said to myself, okay, what can I do with that? Well, the first reaction is most men say, bend over. So I pictured her bent over, and I noticed it right away. Her ass tail, the curvature of her ass tail when she bends over, points right up to the sky. On most of us, it just points just out and down to the ground. But on her ass was pointing to the sky. So the female with the extended ass has a different kind of reception, okay, from the heavens of God. So if you're one of those females watching me, okay, and you don't like your ass, well, let me tell you one thing. It's one ace in the bank. Ass, ace, all the same thing. It's a spirit connect. That's how I know, because it goes together. Okay? A rump, a butt end, all the fat on the back, that's the extra energy. That's why we're so bubbly when we're chubby. Okay, we're always burning that energy, and it's turning yellow inside of us, turning fat into inside of us, and screwing the rest of us up. And then our mind say, oh my God, the earthly mind says I'm too big, I'm too this, I'm too big, I'm too this. Because it's not only the earthly mind that says, you see, the angel mind knows that when you have extra work to do inside here, okay, it takes away from the mental. You have to have a free mental. We must be mentally free and mentally insane, because it's all from within. It's inside. Insane, insanity, I world, okay, 9, flip it to 6, which means O. Why does 6 mean O? Because the I world is man's world, which is his birth 9. You flip the 9 upside down to 6 because God's world, the male, is upside down to ours. Okay? The 6 represents every letter in the alphabet that falls in the 6th position. Okay? So it's either every 6th letter, okay, which would be A, G, M, or it could be a scenario of 6, which means the letter number. Okay? B is 2. O is the 15th. 1 and 5 is 6. So that's how we get to that 6 now. So now since we get to that 6, from the 9 to the O, which is the 6, okay? O in French means water. So we're now connected to the water world. It's the same thing. If you tell me 5 and I look at the 5 on my keyboard, I see the percentage sign. And I know the percentage sign is a resemblance of O and O, which actually means, okay, 4 and 6, 6 and 4 angels connect. Wait, not finished. Okay? It also means it's a percentage. And when you look at that percentage, the percentage is 6 and 9. Because there's 9, there's 3 in the center, 3 on the left, 3 on the right, like on your phone. There's 9. The 6 that connect are 1, 4, 7, 1, 3, 6, 9. Or turn it this way, because we're in the I world, we have to connect to the I letter, which goes 1, 2, 3, and then the 5 in the center, 7, 8, 9. Man is across connecting with 4 and 6 as we go around the 5. That's why I don't count the 5, because the 5 is average. We come into this world, we're a 5, we get the 1 spirit, we're a 6. But in expression, okay, we're the 1 man of the 6 islands, or the 6 spirits. You follow me? The other thing I was working on right now is the wide-hipped beta, female, going this way. This is her world, okay? Either she's wide-hipped or not. Now this can also be a fish. Fish up here and a fish down here. I told you, man's world and God's world are upside down to each other, and the beta world is like this, and then man's world is straight in between, and that's why when we look north, we know where north is, because these worlds are, one is this way, the other one's this way, the other one's that way, but at the end, when you extend it all, 11, 11, 11, 11, on this angle the rain, on this angle the rain, and this angle the rain, all you end up with is triangles and Trinity in the Magen David, the home of the Magen David. David are the angles of division of the digital, because this is what comes up in the middle of the Magen David when you create it. That's the digital David, okay? The Goliath is the goal of all, okay? Goliath, God, O, beta, 6, 7 and 6, queen and king. D is the angle or the angel delta, the fourth letter, because you need a man on all the bases. If you get a grand slam, you bring all 4 of them home. So you bring the 4 angels home. You are the one spirit to do it. Okay? So you played the role of 1 and the one last to come in, which would be the D. So you would be the D and the A. You'd be a DA. Okay? But when you play baseball, okay, to go around the 3 bases, okay, there's 3 bases, there's home plate, but you got to touch home plate twice to score. Is that right? You got to touch home plate to score. That's right. But you got to touch it twice to score. One on leaving and one on coming. Same thing when you go to heaven. You got to leave one to get to the other, to leave the other, to get back home. So in this life, you did everything twice. You left twice and you came twice. That's 4. Those are the angles of man. You completed the routine. We're now in heaven. What's next? Is it Dumbo the elephant? The gray ears of the elephant? Ella, Ella, Ella is in Greek. Hey, it's she, it's she. Elle in French, it means she's there. But L, okay, to mean electronic life. E-L, without using the E, just the letter L tells the whole explanation in itself. Electronic life means creation. So the L, that means creation, is the 12th letter. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 is creation. Command, create 3 islands, whatever you want. Jesus was the 3 islands of heaven and the 3 islands of earth. He was 33. Do you know why he was 33, the 3 islands and the 3 islands? I'm going to show you. Here's the cross. You don't mind if I write and talk and just, you know, okay, now here's the cross and I'm going to show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here's how it works. Okay, Jesus was 1, 2, 3 islands this way, 1, 2, 3 islands this way. This gets converted into here, okay, in which turns this way on the side. Okay, it's like a jack because I have to separate everything. Everything has to be separated to move everything in between because there is a space between everything. Okay, when a corner stops, stop the corner completely, separate, move on to your wall, separate, and then you put the cross angle arms because where you are right now, okay, guaranteed, whatever I'm telling you is the way your house is built. The roof is built one way, the sides are built another way, the bricks are put on another way. And the X, especially in 4 inches, that X shape, the H and the I that connects everything together, the walls, the building walls, if you're in construction, if you know about electricity and the yellow energy, if you know about the electronics, and you know about the blue light, you know about energy. I don't care what business you're in. If you know computers, and you want to tell me about 512 megabytes, well, I'm going to tell you, sure, that has to do with history. 256 down to 128 to 64, which is angel and man, to 32, which is the 3 and 2, 5 spirit leaving in the 8 heaven. 58, it's also a meaning of silver. 8 and 5 is 13, 8 by 5 is the 40 game of life, 8 and 5 is 13, plus the 40 you equal to the 53, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 plus 3 is 8, 23, you have creation, 2 times 3, 2 plus 3 equals 11, equals 6 and 5. Man in the angle spirit, and that's the totality of life, going from 100 all the way down. I know I did it a little quick. There's a lot of information. I know you're not going to understand most of it, and you can just put it on pause, in which I can't put my mind on pause. Not at least right now. So now you understand the 33 of Jesus. Okay? That's the way it works. The cross, this cross, okay, inserted in here is what connects this here world of communication between the sky and the ground, between the angle of man that runs around the fivefold right here. You see the X in the center? Because that's really man. That's man. He's separated from his head and his ass, because this here is the beta world, and this is God between his legs. Okay, you see, this is the X. The X stands for 24. We have 2 here and 2 here. 1X. 2 and 2 is 4, 1 is 5. Again, we're back to 5. The same scenario is over here. I'm working on the 10 Commandments right now, and the 4 cornerstones of life. I'm not sure. I wanted to do something about Shom and their 40 years. I wanted to write a little bit about Christa Berg, because when I'm really into it, I know his music very well. I know the explanation of everything. I wanted to talk about the apple, because apple in French is pomme, and then they have pamplemousse, which is grapefruit, and they have pumpkin, pomme again, and they have potatoes. It's a potatoes. So something about the po and the tato and the tomato, you know, so I'm trying to mix these all together. But I do know that the P letter for pomme and the A letter for apple, okay, how they reflect on each other is the A is the angle of the connection of the Spirit of God, okay, on the 4 sides, 4 angles, okay, it looks like 4 points, looks like a star kiss, okay, and then you have P for man, which is the 1 spirit of the 6 angle, and they're the opposites on a dice. If the 6 is on this side, the 1 is on this side, so they're actually together, because all these rods go to a center point. Everything works out of the core of this, okay? So all the numbers get pulled to the center on an angle, okay? That's why everything's on an angle to God. And then man lives off of the core of all the explanations. That P is 1, 6, I told you. So the 1 is here and the 6 is on the other side. Now how does man get the 1 and 6? Well, the 1 goes all the way down through the 6. Okay, and man comes into the center, so therefore they all power up. That's one of the reasons for yellow. It's got to be something with the powering of the Spirit, advancing the connection of the Spirit. Although it's the Spirit that's in charge, if you don't have the energy for the Spirit, nothing will work. The octane in your car, the diesel fuel in the trucks, the oil. God is running 2 worlds on this earth right now. He's running the underworld. In fact, he's running the underworld, the overworld. He's feeding everybody. He's got to feed all the animals. He's got to feed man. He's got to feed the spirit matrix. And he's got to have the angle of man, which is the angels that are pulling all the strings and the machinery. It's not all magic, you know. What do you think? God's a magic man? You think it's just all magic? God said, poof. No. He went bang. And Einstein came on and said that was the Big Bang that started everything. And Einstein was bang on. Of course that's what started everything. What's next? Well, what's next is what I speak about. Einstein started it. And I'm going to continue from the way I see it, my point of view. So maybe just say I'm a student of Einstein and I'm not doing too good. My face is way too bright. It doesn't work out in this world that my face is so bright. My skin seems to be soft like a baby's ass. Can you see it? Can you see my eyes? The time has come, my friends, for the joy of the world to see that those who prayed and held hard to the hand of Jesus, to the guidance of Moses, to the commandments of our only Lord, and to understand there is a truth in this life and one day it will be found. Just to wait all those years to be here on this earth, 90 years, just to see, oh my God, I died and another one died and no one ever gets to see us. We are in the time of a genuine diamond, because in these years, okay, diamonds are the iceberg that connect, okay? When you freeze, you become an iceberg, and they call that diamonds. Okay? So we are all bergs. Okay? So when they start talking about the Hindenburg and the iceberg, and whatever berg you see, we're all a berg. Okay? Because we defrosted. We were an element that defrosted. Okay? We were once water with nothing, with an element that God mixed together, and He blew the powder. Just like Tinkerbell put her powder, and He mixed His potion with the water, and it was good, and it showed creation, and He continued over a period of time. And ladies and gentlemen, we come to today, the 5th day, the spirit angle of November. 25, the number of beta today, because 11 is 2 and 5. So you cover the beta angle on this day. Tomorrow is the first day of man's day, and it's the first day of the Son of God's day. So tomorrow is going to be a special day. In fact, the next 5 days, all are expressions of God, of the 11th system. They have the CB code, 1010, 10-4, 10-11. Well, this is the 11 code. The 10 code and the 11 code. In the other world, they don't need the angle 1 to connect. In the other worlds, they use the 2-5 angle to connect. How do I know? Well, take a look at a dice. Do I have a dice here? Hello, dice. Hello. Come on, dice. Come on, dice. Come on. Yeah, I found a couple of dice. And a cigarette. Never mind. Found dice and a cigarette. And this video is going to probably end in 2 minutes, but... You know what? If we can't have fun and be serious, then what are we doing? Is this a talk show? You know, we get on David Letterman and he makes a lot of jokes, but does he ever say anything relevant that helps anybody in this world? Most likely yes, because anything reflected off of an X-man, you see this dice in this angle? It's an automatic X, okay? Anything that reflects off of one soul and then a group cast of deciding on some of the questions already tells you how everybody's thinking. So whether or not it seems like they're not talking about anything, they're actually about talking more than we think, because everything goes deeper, okay? It goes into us, and then it goes into the matrix, and then it comes back to us. We get to do it first. Is that true? Yes. The little man in our head goes first. He sees first. He transmits all messages. Hey, little man, how you doing? Are you an X or an O? Or are you a Y and an X? Or a Y and an O? Yo, elev, they say in craps. But it's all over the roulette table. The letter Y is a 3-legged X. The only reason we don't have the continuation of the leg on the Y, okay, depending on which way you do the Y, is because the right side, the 9, okay, when you draw the Y, it goes from 3 to 7 on your telephone, through 5, and then 5 to 1. Because since the 1 has a cornerstone to come down to the center, it can come down and rest on the leg of the 3 and the 7. So it doesn't go to 9. So now you can draw a line around that creates a triangle, a closed triangle. But you don't have the 9 because man's not here. Man is the X. The Y is God. Man is the X. So what's beta? You see, to find out about our DNA and chromosomes, all we got to do is figure out what happened to the X, the Y, the W, and a few letters, and you'll figure out exactly how your chromosomes actually work. And I'm only saying this as a guess, but I'm so sure because it's only an element of balance. Just keep balancing it out till it falls in the right spot. Up and down, like the mouth of a clam, up and down until it finds the right spot, and the whole mouth can close. You know what I'm saying? So here we have a dice. You see the 2, well, I see the 5. You see the 5, I see the 2, and I'm not even going to do this. I don't even want to see. I'm going to look what's on your side. Okay, you have the 3, okay? You see? Because I have the 4. And those are the connections of the spirit. That's how it works. It's that simple. The opposite of every number has nothing in between. The opposite of every number has nothing in between. The 2, 4, and 6 have nothing in between. The 6 islands and the 6 islands. The 6 islands and the 6 islands. But this is the way it sits. Okay? This is the way beta islands go. And all her numbers go on an angle. So when you're trying to read about history, and things are like this, and then things are like this, and then things are like this, I'm supposed to figure it out. Because when they talk about man being 6, and then you end up saying one spirit of man 7, then, I mean, wouldn't that screw everything up? Because you have to understand, first we have the 4 angles of God, okay? Then we have the heart of God, okay? And then we need the one spirit to connect. So it makes man 6, okay? But the islands in totality, okay, there are 8 islands. That's why beta, okay, has 8 eyes on the queen. Now in God's world, like I showed you the design of that shape, the triangle, okay, God's world only has 7 eyes. because he doesn't have the eye of man. But Beta does, because she's got the angles of God and her angles. And then there's man, and he only has 6 eyes, because he only has the angles of Beta 4, and the angel and man, east and west, 5, 6. So the jacks will show you 2 jacks with 1 eye, and 2 jacks with 2 eyes. The club jack, okay, is man's 2 eyes, because the club jack is man's brain and his eyes in his head. So he gets 2 eyes, 1 for his and 1 for yours. The spade gets 1 eye, because the spade is the other half of you, because we are built from 2 halves of heart. So when you say, cross my heart and hope to die, well, you're built that way. But one side has a heart for this world, and the other side lives off of it. You feed 2 sides of you with 1 heart. They put the rib cage in, okay, because they have to have a space for the heart. It needs room. Okay. Anyways, so I showed you the dice, but we're working with 2 dice, one inside the other one, like that. And look at all the corners I got. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I've got 14 corners of 2 islands. 1 here and 1 here. Split by 1. So 6 and 1 is 7. Whoop. Of 2 dice. Of 6 and 6 this way create 8. Okay. Of the 6 islands of man. And that's how you get 7286. MrTacpans's day 6. The week splits into 8 days. It's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, beta creation, because the 2 and 3 makes a 5. So the creation whole of the 5 of beta in the center, where the reindeer is, you see the 2, 5 in between the reindeer, because that's when the 1 quarter, when all the quarters started to match. Beta north, beta south, beta east, beta west. The 4 quarters made a buck. A buck is a man. She's a doe. That's why the reindeer's there for the quarter. So now that you had all that creation, the 4 days, and now you start and you go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wait, that's only 3 days. Yeah, because Saturday's 1 day. You understand what I'm saying? Saturday's a single day. So you get the rule, okay, of actually going in order by going Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 1, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 and 3. Jesus Christ. Okay? In all actuality, the week after that, you'll have that 1 day of rest, okay, for Sabbath, and then you'll go 6 days. And that's for the 613 laws of Moses. You go the 6 days, the 1 day, the 3 days. Then you go to 3 days, the 1 day, the 6th day. And then you go the 1 day, the 3 days, 3 days, the 6th, 1 day, the 6th day, the 1 day, the 3. So it just continues, 3, 1, 6, 6, 1, 3, 3, 1, 6. It's like a train. And now what you have to do is you have to take 613 and 613 equals 10. And there's a whole design that goes along with that. In fact, the design of the 613 mitzvah and the Mayan calendar fit right into each other. It talks about 6 days, 1 day, 3 days. The 16 hours were awake. The 8 hours were asleep. Even in 613 days of mitzvah, God tells you what year the Messiah was born. I mean, it's right there. Don't you see it? 613, 1963. Right? But the one before, God is upside down, so you read his 2 numbers from in between in the middle. 1, 9. Now you flip it up the other way, you got 1963. Okay? What month? Well, everybody knows. 10, 10, 10, 10. How many corners? 4. October 4th. Wouldn't that be right? Is that not right? The 4 corners of beta, the 4 corners of God, and the 2 corners man gets is 10. Comprende? Good. Plus the 2 corners of beta that we don't get is 12. And that's where we get the 12 tribes, making up the 12 corners. Okay. Very good. I have an apple. Already, when just by the air, it's starting to turn brown. And I'm starting to see that there's a heart. You see the heart? The heart is right there. In fact, it looks like a yod. Looks like a yod more than a heart. Anyways, that's the apple. And I just took a bite out of life. Thank God. Be well, my friends. Be well. There's going to be more. I feel like I'm really tied up inside now. I just can't get it out fast enough. But that thing with the Y I was telling you about before, here, I have a little picture. On your phone, it's 1357. The bottom part is not there. That's the 9. So when man is born, that comes all the way down there. So the XY chromosome is because when this X goes down here, it comes out of the creation of the Y. So Y creates the X. And it's not the X that creates the Y. But then again, let me tell you exactly. This X, okay, are the two sticks of God. They slip in each other. They fall down, they go up, they slide. Okay? So if I slide one to the end, that Y moves. If I bend one of the legs, the Y ends up looking like this Y. Now it looks like a T. See the way the Y turned into a T? Now you have a transfer from an island. That's what I talk about, the transfer, the T transfer. It's not only that, on a car, a differential can now turn the wheels of the crossing. I can turn these wheels here. This is a transmission, and this is a T transfer, so it's a transmission, okay? And the wheels turn and the information comes. ACT, Angel Communication Transmission, okay? Dog. Angle, I don't know what the G is yet. 711, definitely. 18. The one spirit of the eighth heaven. Oh my God, that's crazy. The one spirit of the eighth heaven. Because you know what I do with some of my letters? Okay, even if they're not like that, I'll, let's say, take the letter G, and I'll put a 1 in front of it. And then I'll say, okay, that's 6. The G without a 1, without a man, is 6. The G with a man is 8, because now there's heaven. So I can play with all the letters because I know the system. I made up the system. And the system works for me because I always get the numbers I need. Another thing I was going to go over are the Hebrew letters. Some of them are made as a box, meaning only one world. Some are high letters showing 2 worlds. And final Nun, final Fe, they show 3 worlds. The Lamed shows the heart of the 7. The Yod shows an impersonation of the Zion and part of the Lamed. And here you have Gimel, Zion, Mem, Sameach, final Fe, and Tav and Resh. Those are all the angle powers of the angel, because in here, the angel power, if you include Bet and Vet, Gimel becomes the angel power, yellow. Kaf also. It's right here in the book. Here, just let me show you. I don't make these things up, man. I don't make anything up. I just read into what they give me. They put different colors on it. So I put up a pattern. I say, okay, all these numbers are blue, all these are green. I know what the Aleph means. I'm very strong on the Aleph Bet. So right away, I start to put all the colors in order. And you see, when I hold the book this way, look what happens when I do this. You see the colors is good? How are the colors? How are the colors? Right? In a blinding speed of light, God came. Look at that blinding speed of light. You can't see it. There's God. Look at him going into my finger. Look as I push my hand. Watch my finger. Watch my finger. He's coming out. The light is coming out of my finger. You see? You see my hand? Right out of my finger it comes. It's a blinding speed of light. Look at that tornado right into my finger. Right there. Okay. None of that's going to show anyways. I am MrTacpans's, or playing the role of, in transmission of Nebula 7286, constellation of Pegasus. ID code 5281. What other numbers there are? Yes, 100%. There's like 3 day ones in our week. Okay? One for God, one for Jack, one for the Queen, and one for man. So there's 4 day ones, and there's 3 day twos. But the second day two of one of the day ones is actually a God in a corner, so that would make a 5th day one. In fact, the only reason we have all the days for the week is actually they're all individual days. They each say something different. They're put in that order because they're explaining a part of creation of 7 days. In every single letter of every single name in every single language around the world, when you put it together, Okay, the formation, as long as the formation and grid is the way I have it, if it's not, we have to recreate a new one for where you live, because we all have the same grid. What I do can be done all over the world, okay, anywhere. You put together whatever language it is, whatever design of language it is, and you take the, well, I'd start off with the telephone to see where they put everything on the phone, then I'd go to the keyboard, and I do it in your own language. And then you have to start opening up the mind. If you don't open, if this is closed, forget it. There is no impossible. We're writing, we're talking, we're exchanging. We're not building. If we're building concrete, when you bump into a wall, well, figure out how to reconnect. Okay, that's what we're doing. There are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. In fact, the only mistake I have is I'm still crying inside that I was at work the other day for a friend of mine, and the boss there tells me he doesn't like that I'm writing. I said, you know the scenario. I'm getting paid basically nothing to be here. Whatever you get out of me is an extra. If you don't let me write, well, what can I say? I have to write. So he says, no, go outside and work outside. So now this is on my head. So now I know when I go in on Monday to help out this guy again, I have to get out of the house. I can't stay in the house. If I stay in the house and do this all the time, I'll blow up. So I have to make sure I'm stable on the earth. I know when I'm home I'm a little whacked out here, but that's okay. I understand. A lot of others probably won't. Okay, but when I go in on Monday, I'm going to come with my paper. I'm going to put it down. Now either I tell him before I start, or I play a game and I wait till he comes up to me and says, you know what, I want you outside, only because he doesn't like what he sees inside. He can't handle it. He can't handle it. He stresses over everything. Hey man, this is who I am. This is how I'm working for the company. Okay, and I'm basically there only only a couple hours, so it's just a little help, a helping hand. So I go in for the helping hand. I go in for 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, whatever it is. I don't want to say 6 hours. I can't say 5 hours. I can say 1 hour. Whatever it is, he threw me outside, and I know he's going to throw me outside on Monday. And I'm already prepared for that fight on Monday. When he wants to throw me out, I already know what I'm going to tell him. He's going to say, go outside, and I say, listen, maybe I won't even say that. I'll sit and I'll think, and I'll just stay in the same spot, and I'll make him come back to me and tell me again. And then I'll make him come back to me and tell me again. You see, by making him come back to me, okay, and crying, he becomes the little wolf. The one who cried wolf, yet he's the one trying to dismay me. Why did he drop? Because he has to say, well, why isn't he moving? What should I do? He's going to have to work on a balanced term to try and help me to get out without being screaming at me or hitting me. So he's going to have to start thinking. That's why I'll make that move. Maybe he'll be ready to talk. So if he says he's not ready to talk, well, he wants me to go outside, and we say, listen, if you talk now, maybe when I'm done I'll go outside. But if we never talk, well, why should I go out? Because now you're telling me and ordering me to do something without asking me. And that's not very polite if you tell and you do not ask. Even if we know each other, it's better to ask than to tell. If you want to tell a story, you have to ask if everybody wants to listen to your story. You can't just tell. You can give, but some people don't accept. So then we stopped asking, then we stopped telling, and that's where everything just changed in the world. We got 38 minutes here. If this comes out on 38 minutes, I'll eat my shoe, because everything's been coming out at 10 minutes. Oh my God, it's time for a cigarette. You think I should put this on my head? If they crown me, I want to be crowned this. Not because I can do the outside of Rubik's Cube, it's because I can do the inside of Rubik's Cube. Good night.